This is the second lecture in the series of construction management lectures. Today's lecture is on the project participants. The learning objectives are differentiate between the roles and responsibilities of the key construction participants, characterize the division of labor within a designer organization, recognize the common categories of construction labor, outline the requirements for professional registration and certification. So construction project. How many people does it take to build a project? There are many people involved in the construction. First of all, the owner of the project. Then the owner hires construction managers, designers, engineers, architects. Then there is a set of construction professionals who sometimes need to be pre-qualified to bid on the project. So they submit their pre-qualification application. The owner and his or her team selects the pre-qualified contractors. They submit the RFP. The lowest bidder gets the job most likely, and then the project goes in construction in full swing. Owner has a budget and a schedule to complete the construction. It could be public owners, it could be private owners. Regardless, the owner is the owner of the project. The owner provides the money to complete the project. The owner hires the owner's representative, could be a construction manager. The owner also hires the design professionals who will design the structures. If there's a building structure, there is an architect or architectural firm involved who hires the structural engineer to design the project. Architects are the stars of the building industry, and many famous ones easily come to mind. Frank Lloyd Wright, Norman Foster, Frank Gehry, and I.M. Pye. The profession has a certain mystique about it, romantic, artistic, and not entirely understood by people outside the field. Architects are the industry's image makers. And then finally, the constructors who actually build the project, give the project life. It's the owner. The owner establishes the budget, money comes from the owners, defines the program, defines the project, defines what he or she wants. The owner also selects the designer builder team, determines the project delivery method, whether it is design build, design bid build, or construction management. So there are two types of owners. Could be public, could be private. Public owners are usually the state or federal agencies. Private owners could be the private citizens. Public owners. Project is funded with public money. Federal, city, state, county, Army Corps of Engineers, DOT, Department of Transportation, General Service Administration, etc. do their own construction. Public universities, hospitals may be managed by private organizations. Since publicly funded, specific guidelines must be followed. The reporting in public projects can be very extensive. The private owners, on the other hand, mostly do residential and commercial buildings, office buildings. They're the developer. Their goal is to make money. As long as they can make money, that's all important to them. The minimal constraints on how the project is organized and managed if they're owned by the private owners. Private owners usually hire his or her representatives. There's a large organizations and institutions often employ full-time facility managers. Other owners hire outside consultants, construction managers, and so on. Some owners rely on a rebuilding committee. In all cases, the owner representative defines the project scope, budget, and timeline. So everybody else, like the architects, engineers, the contractors, they all have to work under this scope within the budget and complete the project within the timeline as is scheduled and agreed by the owner and the other parties involved. So who are the design professionals? There are the architects, the lead vertical constructions, mainly high-rise buildings, industrial commercial facilities, hospitals, colleges, dorms, and so on. Engineers, they're the lead horizon construction, like heavy construction, heavy civil construction, longer than height, like bridges, roads, tunnels, railways, airports, etc. Those are not typically designed by architects. Those are designed by licensed professionals like PEs and PS, professional surveyors. With 25 to 65% of construction costs going to engineered systems, engineers play an important role on projects. Sometimes they work within the large architectural engineering firms, but most often they are independent consultants. Engineers' responsibility on project is varied depending on their discipline. But in all cases, they must understand an owner's requirement, budget, operations, durability, and intended use of the space. Architects translate and develop an owner's requirements. They graphically present them so that the constructor can accurately price, schedule, and construct the design. They are the industry's image makers. There are also drafters, the CAD, the Building Information Modeling, BIM, spec writers. There are interior designers, landscape architects, etc. as well. Engineers, 25 to 65% of construction cost. Lead designers on horizontal infrastructure projects. They're responsible for the design of the engineered system in commercial building projects, such as structure, HVAC, and electrical. Complete coordination between the engineering systems is very critical for successful completion of engineered projects. The constructors, they are the main builder of the project. The constructors is the term used to include both construction managers and general contractors. The constructor is responsible for the means and methods of construction, whether the work is bid or negotiated, at risk or not. There are various certifications needed from AIC, CMAA, CPC, etc. Required constructor expertise. The constructor should have knowledge on building, contracts, legal and regulatory environment, demographic trends, personnel management, company management, scheduling, conflict resolution, information systems, estimating, most important, negotiations, cash management, customer relations, and industry advancement. Specialty contractors, they're also known as subcontractors. The constructor is responsible for the coordination and hire of all specialty contractors or subcontractors. As projects become more complex, the specialties become numerous, requiring a greater number of work packages. And these are managed by the construction manager. The trades. The building trades are responsible for the physical construction of the project. The increased complexity of projects demands an increased number of highly trained tradespeople. Current demographic trends show fewer young people entering the trades. This is an industry challenge. The baby boomers are retiring. The younger people are not very interested in construction careers. As a result, there is an increased demand for construction professionals. Union versus merit shops, a continuing debate. Instead of directly hiring the trades, bid the work out to subcontractors. They are on their own payroll. Just hire a superintendent to oversee the work. This way, you can reduce the builder's financial risk. Material suppliers, owners, designers, and trade associations need to work together to establish product standards. They're done usually by, for concrete structures, American Concrete Institute or ACI, American Plywood Association, ASHTOS, and so on, and also AAC, product selections. The equipment suppliers. You can rent or you can buy. It depends on the necessity of the equipment for the project. It has to be project specific. Let's say you need a dump truck every day. So instead of renting, it is possibly more economical to buying one. So equipment selection is a typical constructor's responsibility and an important one. Earth moving excavators, lifting cranes, light equipment, pumps, compressors, etc. Bituminous machineries, batching plants, demolition tools, all are important as part of the equipment suppliers. There are other participants in the project, such as banks, financial institutions, who lend the money. The inspectors and testing laboratories. The inspectors could be from the counties. They come and inspect whether the project meet all the required local, state, and county guidelines and requirements. Public officials for zoning, planning, etc. Insurance and bonding agencies. Construction attorneys, legal issues, and most importantly, the public. Good project managers. They confront problems, find solutions. They're very organized, enthusiastic, and they also communicate very, very well. They have to be motivating. They have to motivate well to work with others. At the same time, they have to be flexible and they know how to delegate work to others to manage. They also have to be multitasking and definitely have strong moral character.